Howdy, howdy. and, and welcome to
Howdy!
But It Was Aliens. But It Was Aliens, the extraterrestrial comedy podcast where we probe famous art. Well, actually, we probe aliens, but you've seen the title. Or have you? Have you really seen it? Are you wondering how the Mona Lisa links to aliens? Well, I'll be hosting your journey today. I'm Kevin the Grey. With me is Granville Moonwalker, who has no idea what is coming up today.
Except it has something to do with the Mona Lisa and art.
Are you strapped up and ready to probe?
Yes.
Today, we aren't really touching Renaissance Italy. You're probably expecting Da Vinci and the link between the Middle Ages and modernity. Why can I not say that word ever?
Modernity?
Modern times! Right? We are actually going to be mainly focusing on America and Russia. In April 2007...
Was it April 1st?
No?
Okay.
Pretty much out of nowhere, videos begun surfacing on YouTube claiming that a secret lunar mission, Apollo 20, had been launched to the dark side of the moon in August 1976. Yup, we are going back to the moon. At this point, you're probably thinking that I love the moon, and to be fair, I do love cheese. But when I originally probed the moon, way back when, I found about 5 different probes to probe. We often wonder why humankind never went back to the moon, and the suggestion is mainly cost and a lack of political motivation. But what if we did? Why would it be kept secret?
We never fucking went in the first place. It's all fake. The moon landing's not real. It's a hoax.
Huh?
Do you reckon they found something up there?
Like what, sir?
Bullshit, because they never went. Does this probe rely on the fact that you have to believe that the first moon landing was real?
Not strictly, but kind of, a little bit.
Okay. For you, it was real. Right. What did they find up there? Did they find ponies? Were they unicorns?
Unicorns do exist?
But did they find them on the moon?
No.
No,
You've managed to lose me in my own probe.
It's because I said it was all bullshit. And now you're lost.
Right. Apollo 20.
I'm going to ask a serious question now.
Right.
How much do you think it cost them to go to the moon in the first place if they went to the moon? Because surely...
An awful lot.
It's not going to cost them more to go this time. Well, I suppose if you're accounting for inflation, yes, it would cost more.
Yeah.
But they have far better resources and equipment and tech and everything to get them there. Plus, they could just ask Elon. He'll be like, sure, here's a rocket.
Don't think he gives them away for free.
I was about to say it's going to cost you like a shit ton. Or it might not even cost you money. It may just cost you government contracts down the line. But then, I suppose if it's a case of just travelling to a destination, once you've done it once, would you really want to do it again? Are you really that fussed to do it?
Depends. There is potentially more to be found.
Why haven't other countries done it?
They have.
Why haven't we?
We don't have the money. We get involved with Europe on the space station.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry, you can continue.
Apollo 20 launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. This mission was a partnership between the United States and the then Soviet Union. Bang! In the middle of the Cold War. Mission members included Alexei Leonov, the first human to walk in space, The mission landed near the Goyo crater, close to the Del Porte crater, with Goyo itself being a somewhat distorted crater. I have an official photo of the area taken by NASA's Apollo 15 in 1972. Check this and let me know if you can see anything that may be of interest for future missions.
Okay, so it looks like a turd in a bowl, or a rollie in an ashtray, a slug coming out of a hole, a cigar in an ashtray. It literally just looks like a cigar-shaped object in a crater, a shallow crater by the looks of things. I'm going with turd in a bowl. What I do have a question about though. The first human to walk in space.
Yes, indeed.
How is this classified?
What do you mean?
Because if you are in a rocket that is in space and you're walking along the rocket, you're technically walking in space. Albeit within a rocket,
Right.
but you're still in space.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that no one had done that before?
So this chap was the first person to walk in space, but then there's a classified mission later on.
Yes. Is this before the moon landing?
No, after
So-
Apollo 20.
He's not the first person to walk in space.
Why isn't he? He done that before. He isn't walking on space for the first time in Apollo 20. So the person who first walked in space is involved in this mission.
Oh, so he originally went up before.
Yeah,
The
first
trip
person
to
to
the-
walk in space.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Trying to poke
Makes more
holes
sense
in
now.
my story already. But let's just rewind a moment. If you think the Americans and the Soviets working together sounds far-fetched, guess what? There was an official mission in 1975, usually called the Apollo-Soyuz Test Project, though Americans now casually call it Apollo 18. The objective, and I quote here, was to dock 2 probes. America and the then Soviet Union worked together to dock 2 probes. That's official. It launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base also. But there are no official details on Apollo 19 and 20. There are, however, claims of a sizable launch taking place from Vandenberg in July 1975. These YouTube videos and the folks involved let the cat out of the bag on the details. Apollo 19 went wrong, possibly due to a collision of sorts, though the astronauts did make it back safely. But Apollo 20 was a success, targeting a landing next to this cigar-shaped anomaly. Humankind needed to investigate this peculiar object further.
So they tried to dock 2 probes.
Yes?
Side by side, or how were they trying to dock them?
Inside each other.
On top of one another? Beside each
No,
other?
they go into each other. So
Oh.
one has a hole and the other probe slots into the hole. Like a dock in the space station.
Okay. And this was during the Cold War.
Yes, they worked together during the Cold War.
Did they know about the war going on?
Yes?
I was just wondering if these 2 groups were told to go and work together. They just went off, stayed away from everyone else, had no news, no nothing, carried on working. Yet America and USA
There's a war
just
going
went
on.
to war, and these were like, la 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 la, let's go to space.
Not knowing
Let's
anything
dock
about
probes. Just oblivious. So no, they knew.
No, they do, yeah.
Okay.
So that peculiar object, here's a second photo from Apollo 15, zoomed.
Let's have a look-see. Whoa.
Word?
That... What the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm. Interesting, right?
Okay, we're looking at the object zoomed, and there are... It looks as if there are holes and lines and gribbles and everything on this object. And they kind of look, I mean, they're not intricate as if someone's drawn a masterpiece, but they're also too deliberate to be the result of hitting into other rocks. This is mad. If you look towards that far right hand corner,
Yep.
just a bit further down,
Yep.
looks like someone's drawn a spider.
Okay. Don't know why you'd clock that.
Because it looks like a circle with 8 legs coming out of it. It's like a spider. And the other at the other end, so in the top corner you've got ML6. Look underneath it where the 3 holes are there.
Yep.
That looks like 2 eyes at the bottom, some hair coming up, and where that mouth is, they're foaming at the mouth. Someone's done a shit ton of cocaine and it is literally just coming out of their mouth hole. Like the 2 nostrils are like below the eyes.
Yeah, I just saw that after you said that.
They got the wrong hole. They were like, just cocaine, just dunked their face in it.
So you would agree,
They were like
sir,
trying to rub it in their gums.
that this looks suspicious?
Do you reckon it could be like a statue of some kind?
It reminds me of like a sarcophagus kind of thing, like ancient scrolls on it.
Space sarcophagi.
Alright, now let's get back to these videos. Originally
Get off coke face.
uploaded anonymously by the tag retired AFB, photographic and video material of a top secret nature begun circulating. The identity of the uploader was established. Enter William Rutledge,
Why does that name ring a bell?
an American now living in Rwanda and who worked for the USAF in corroboration with NASA. It was Rutledge in interviews via Yahoo Messenger with Italian journalist Luca Scantamburlo who shed light on Apollo 19, but more importantly, he had the footage from Apollo 20. William Rutledge in interviews used very technical terms such as feldspathoid, which is a mineral and indicates that Willie had a fine knowledge of geology and chemistry. Willie, an American born in Belgium, also displayed poor English and claimed that it was because he had not spoken it for so long. Willie spoke German, French, and Kinyarwanda.
Okay, 1. Why does he still have the footage? Like, did he sneak it out?
Possibly.
2. If you stopped speaking a language for so long, do you think it would actually be hard to speak it again?
Potentially, if you were speaking another language as your main language for so long.
And 3, this dawned on me the other day and I'd totally forgotten about it until you just mentioned the other languages. If you speak a multitude of languages, say for example, you speak German, French, English, Spanish.
Right.
If you were to read in your head, what language do you read? So if you were to read English, would you hear English in your head? If you were to read the same phrase in German, would you hear it in German or would you hear it in English?
There's actually been lots of studies done on that. And people, it depends on how fluent they are. Usually people hear in their native language and they translate things from the other languages very quickly into the native language. But if you're truly, truly, truly fluent, then you can hear in both. Bonkers to think about, isn't it?
It blew my mind the other day because I was like, would you hear the German words for yes as yes in English? Or would you hear it as German? It's tripped me out for ages. Thought I'd ask.
So the first few
Those
videos...
things that occupy my mind when I'm just like chilling.
The first few videos show the secret mission launch and whatnot with Willie, Leonov, and a third astronaut, Leona Snyder. So we aren't going to go over them. We are going to go straight to the money shot, what they found on the dark side of the moon. Willie...
Sorry. They found Optimus Prime.
Really? You so enthusiastically interrupted me for Optimus Prime?
Might be Megatron.
Okay. Praise Megatron.
Sound like you.
Just seeing if I get a bite.
About to praise you.
Willie explained that the astronauts saw a ruined city full of scrap and a derelict spaceship, as had been picked up in the NASA photos, estimated to be about 1.5 billion years old. So firstly, here's a still of the city. If you'd like to check this out, Mr. Moonwalker.
It does look like the moon.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like... It's a very Castlevania-esque structure in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Castle.
Mm-hmm.
The terrain of the dark side of the moon looks very different to the terrain of the moon, in that it looks much... Well, just in this shot alone, it looks much smoother, less craters.
Mm-hmm. Looks like structures in the background, though, yeah?
Mm-hmm. I will agree to that.
Now, it's time to see the derelict alien spacecraft. Unfortunately, the video is of shitty audio quality, so please check this link and describe as you're watching, Mr. Moonwalker. That's some excellent description.
So before I've even started the video, it has the little thumbnail of the video.
Right.
And there is an orange woman laying down with long brown hair.
Just skip past that. That's just a thumbnail. Come on. Bastard thumbnail.
So Apollo 20. We have a astronaut just flipping his boot round and round. They're videoing the dials at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going black. He's trying to show us outside the window, but it looks pretty shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not sure what I was meant to be looking at there. His camera skills, because there's no audio.
You got to remember they're on the moon, just holding a camera as they're going around.
What? Where did she come from? Okay, apparently, in this video, you keep seeing little splices of the orange woman that I mentioned. And every time it goes near her, it just goes off. Nope, here we are. We have her. She's orange. She's got long dark hair. She seems to be passed out. And video's gone off her again. His video is terrible. But in being terrible, it could be quite authentic.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, they've undressed her. She has some weird... I think they're looking at her belly button. That's a clay model. They are clay titties. I'm sorry. They are not trying to fob that off as a human. That's orange clay. Unless those eyes open and she speaks. This is bullshit. He's zoomed in on her forehead and it looks like she has the head of a grey tattooed on in the middle of her forehead. Like the skid mark of the greys left on her forehead. It really does just look like... It looks more like porcelain, I'd say now.
Right.
The way he keeps zooming in. Her crusty brown lips.
You got to remember, this thing could have been laying there for billions of years. You'd expect a bit of crust, wouldn't you?
Well, there's nothing to prove that they took it from the dark side of the moon. They could have just had it in there with them.
Is my word not good enough for you?
No. And the video's ended. We saw some porcelain titties.
Clay titties, I think you referred to them as.
That was awful. Like, it's as if they used brown clay to make the lips and her eyebrows.
Why do you think it's clay?
It looked very clay-like. It's either clay or porcelain.
Who's to say that aliens don't look
Or,
clay-like?
you know when you put clay in a kiln?
Yeah, and it goes hard?
Yeah, that's what it looks like when it comes out. So I can't tell if it's just clay as it is, because those titties look clay, and the shine off the face looked like a clay pot that had just come out of a kiln. Who are they trying to fool with this nonsense?
So what you've just seen is a real freaking piece of footage of a secret moon landing where they found a gosh damn alien.
No, they didn't.
Willie claims that he got the footage when a building at Vandenberg was destroyed. An officer found the footage and passed it on to a commander from the missions, which in turn led to Willie obtaining the footage. Willie got him some contacts, yo.
As in contact lenses, to investigate this fully.
No,
because if he didn't, he fucking needs some.
This thing has transferred down a trail, is what I mean.
Are you
he doesn't
gonna
need contacts. He's
you
fully on
put
board
the
and legit.
link to this video on our
I am.
our group?
It'll be. Oh, I wasn't going to do the group. It's going to be in the episode notes
Okay.
that everybody reads.
You really need to see it because it's awful.
It's awfully truthful, is what he means.
Are you saying that Willie is trustworthy?
I have no comment to make at this juncture.
Fair.
Not only do we have that footage, Willie, in his interview, claimed that one of the aliens, who they named Mona Lisa, was alive and was taken back to Earth. Willie explained that a piloting device was attached to the alien's eyes and that they had to cut wires connected to the nose. Meanwhile, a second alien was discovered too, but it was a head separated from its body, so there probably wasn't any saving that one. I have a photo of the face of Mona Lisa before the tubes were cut though. Check this.
Can't wait to check this out. We got another.
Yeah.
Have they changed the colour of this one?
No, it's legit.
No. So it looks like the exact same clay model, and what they've done is it looks like they've used cotton buds to connect the lips and the eyelids, and then so there's 6 in total. You have 2 long ones going from the outside of the eyes down to the corner of the bottom lip. You have 2 smaller ones going from the middle of the eyelids to the top lip, and it's pulling it up a bit. And then we have what I can only assume is going from the forehead to the inside of the eyes. I don't see how, unless this was some kind of torture device, I don't see how this is practical or helps anyone. Oh wait, it's bullshit.
Who's negative again?
I'm negative in the face of bullshit.
When I look at this, it reminds me...
What do you see? What do you see when you look at this, Kevin?
Clockwork Orange.
Okay, I'll let you off.
You know when they're holding his eyes open to show him all the footage? It's kind of like that, except rather than holding the eyes open, it's kind of merged them shut. It looks...
But then what are the top ones?
If you put
for?
yours... Maybe that's going into a hole in the brain. But regardless, if you put your skepticism to one side for just a second, that is a pretty grim image, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Like tubes...
If that was to a real person.
Almost like electric tubes going into the eyes, into the mouth, and one's going up the nose at least.
Are they going up the nose, or is that just a residue of something?
It looks like one is curving up the nose, but it's hard to say for definite. Obviously, this is potentially a very, very old person, and there's all like moon dust and whatever covered. And the mouth is open, so that dust is going to be falling in the mouth. This person is going to have a real sore throat. So yeah, Willie says that Mona Lisa was in suspended animation. They checked her with their own biodetecting equipment, and life signature was positive. They therefore decided to take Mona Lisa back to Earth. She lived. They also brought the alien head back on board.
How did they know that she could breathe Earth's atmosphere, and that them taking her back to Earth wouldn't have killed her?
So I'm not entirely sure on that one. I did myself think when they snipped the wires, is that not like the devices that are keeping this thing alive?
Cutting her life support.
So they might have just turned the plug off. Good question.
And they decided to take the head, but not the body. Did they not have room?
Yeah, the other one. I don't know. That struck me as a little bit barbaric. Like, we're going to leave the body here. We'll just take the head. We don't need the body. They're just rocking around with an arm under their
I mean, what
head
if,
under their arm. Sorry.
when they got that head back onto the ship, because of the warmth of the ship, it just started to decay?
That's grim. They got that head and it just started to decay. Willie only said that Mona Lisa was still alive on Earth. He never said what happened further than that. Willie was an astronaut, so maybe he doesn't even know. I wish, oh how I wish, that I had more information on Mona Lisa, but the info just isn't out there. So I'll just focus on Willie briefly. Never realised how that bit sounded. In the last line of Willie's interview with the Italian journalist Luca, Willie describes himself as the deep throat.
No, he doesn't.
Willie the deep throat. Willie said that he came out with the information and footage, and now there would be nothing NASA could do except to say that he was a hoaxer. Suing or offing him would be an acknowledgement. Willie subsequently moved all his videos to a different page, but then Willie vanished. No more Willie. The site vanished too.
But maybe he just went off the grid so that people would think, oh, NASA offed him. What he said was true.
Or maybe it is all true.
Nah, bullshit.
Maybe NASA or someone higher up than NASA got him.
No,
They
they didn't.
got Willie.
I think he went into a bar, was talking too much shit, got into a fight with someone about his bullshit, and they
got
hit him too
nutted.
hard.
So you don't think that NASA got him?
Smacked his head on a pool table.
Or an agency? You don't think an agency got him?
No.
So you think he's still a free Willie?
He's either a free Willy or he's a shriveled up dead Willy. Of natural causes. Or illness.
I do really like the concept though. He publicly states, I'm putting this out there, now it's out there, they can't do anything to me. Then he disappears. In truth, the official line is that Apollo 20 never flew. The cigar was a natural part of the terrain, and Apollo 18, 19 and 20, though planned, were cancelled after funding was withdrawn, meaning that the 1972 Apollo 17 was actually the last crewed lunar mission. The USA-USSR joint mission took place, but wasn't officially called Apollo 18. As I stated, it was Apollo Soyuz. Meanwhile, some of the rocket stages for the cancelled Apollo missions had been created at time of cancellation, but rather than be used on Apollo 18 through 20, they were actually used in NASA's next project called Skylab, the first US orbiting space station, and placed on display at space centres in America. Still, that doesn't mean other rockets couldn't have been constructed, does it? There is the slight problem that a launch from Vandenberg at the time suggested would have been very problematic trajectory-wise in reaching the moon as well, in terms of where the launch stages of the rocket would have fallen. Oh. And Apollo 16 took photos of the same area by the crater, which didn't appear to show artificial structures. What if it moved?
So the Castlevania castle can just move itself.
Yes.
What is the likelihood of that compared to the likelihood that this is all bullshit?
I'd say that's... Are we talking percentages, or do you want me to scale it on 0 to 10?
Let's go percentages.
Okay, I'd say about 0.01. But which way?
But then So NASA say 18, 19 and 20
Yeah.
never launched,
Yeah.
which is fair. They could have launched under other names or secret space launches and
Yep.
then just name other ones 18, 19 and 20 and go, look, see? In sequence, they went.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm more inclined to believe NASA here than this Willy.
You're trusting NASA.
It's not often I'd say that, but yes.
Big words, son. I don't think we've ever said that on this show.
I am willing to believe NASA. I think this guy is trying to come in my cornflakes and tell me it's milk.
My gosh. That's bloody horrific. Dirty heathen.
He is. This is all bullshit.
In summary, we've had a bloody hoax. There was a supposed secret mission to a cigar-shaped object seen on the moon, and in the mission not only was a craft found, but an actual alien corpse, who was then taken back to Earth. But it was faked. The hoax was created by French artist Thierry Speth. The alien corpse of Mona Lisa was one of his sculptures. Clay titties. A launch from Vandenberg at the suggested time would have been problematic trajectory-wise, let alone with where the Stage 1 rocket bits would have fallen back to Earth. And also, how the hell would the world of photographers and astronomers out there not notice a rocket in the sky? The original videos of the launch also had the Apollo 11 launch sounds, which was quickly picked up by the internet community, which I guess is why subsequent videos were fairly silent. One of the astronauts, Leona Snyder, doesn't appear to have actually even existed. There's lots of other evidence of this fakery out there, so I won't go over it any further. If you're curious, look it up. But it's a hoax, folks. For you, Granville, here's one last high-resolution photo of the same area with the cigar shape on the moon.
That's the same area.
Yep. So, as you can see, once you improve the resolution in later NASA missions, it disappears.
It's gone.
Any final thoughts on the story before we conclude?
So, I was going to question you.
Right.
Because if you were going to try and convince me that this clay-titted model was real,
Yeah.
but you had issue with the model at Roswell, I was going to get up and slap you.
Always so aggressive.
So what did this Willy have to gain by putting this out? Did he just put it out as a hoax, or did he try to make people think it was real?
I think he tried to make people think it was real, but equally it wasn't like he was getting any money for it or whatever. Probably just some sort of side creative project. And it's not like he went out of his way, he quickly disappeared.
Is it because they sent people his way?
I've got no idea,
He
to
got
be
a knock
honest.
at the door. And he was like,
I'm just
are you Willy Routledge?
quite pleased that I've managed to waste 40 minutes of your time.
That is an awful, awful model. That thumbnail really did fuck it up for you, didn't it?
Yeah. I don't think that was the thumbnail when I found it. Darn it. But I'm still going to make you conclude, you son of a turd merchant. Are you saying that it was aliens?
There is no way in clay-titted hell I am saying that was aliens. It was bullshit.
You keep on talking about clay. It's making me think of Clay Fighters. Do you remember that? Ichabod Clay.
63 and a third?
Yeah, that was the sequel.
Oh, the original was 33 and a third, wasn't it?
Was it Clay Fighters? And then the sequel.
And then
came.
the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking good game.
Bad Mr. Frosty.
I'm bad, I'm cool, I'm nobody's fool.
What a great game. But yeah, I'm not saying that it was aliens because it was not aliens. This file was very, very, very clearly a hoax from the word go. I watched a YouTube video including the footage of an astronaut first before reading anything, and as I skipped through over a few seconds to see if it was worth including, I noticed about 8 minutes in that the bottom of the body or suit was missing in one of the scenes. It stopped an inch or three before the bottom of the background image. It had clearly been superimposed over another piece of imagery or footage, unless the astronaut was a floating torso alien themselves. Oopsies! So yeah, I knew immediately this had been made. Any final things you'd like to mention before we close?
Praise Lord Voldemort. And
Why?
no,
Why is that coming into your mind?
it's always there
Crazy.
until the world.
Well, that is today's show, folks. Until next time, if you'd like to probe us, we are on the Twitter. At But It Was Aliens. If you're listening on a podcatcher which accepts ratings and reviews such as Apple Podcasts or iTunes, please take 10 seconds out of your day and drop us a 5-star review. It means so much to us. If you think there are things we can improve on whilst keeping in line with the nature of our show, drop us a DM instead, let us know. But thank you, one and all, for listening to But It Was Aliens. Until next time, why does the moon follow you? The truth is up there. #.